Distinguished guests, Kiwanians, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kiwanis Club of Kingsport's 2026 Candidate Forum for District 11 Sullivan County Commissioners. I'm Mirly Davis, past president of Kiwanis and a member of the Civic and Business Affairs Committee. It's my special pleasure to serve as moderator for especially today's forum. As Kiwanians, we have a strong commitment to civic responsibility and providing service to this community and indeed the world. The Kiwanis Club of Kingsport was established in 1924 and continues to serve Kingsport and its children while fulfilling our motto of serving the children of the world. The guidelines for today's forum are as follows. Each candidate will have 1 minute to present an opening statement, 1 minute to respond to each of the forum questions, and 1 minute for a closing statement. Our timekeeper, Admiral John McKinley, will provide each candidate with a 15-second alert. Admiral just demonstrated for the candidates. And there will be another alert when the time is over. Ladies and gentlemen, we are delighted that 2 of the Sullivan County District 11 candidates are with us here today, Joshua French and Zach Thomas. The other candidates were unable to join us. Candidates, we ask that you please use the microphone to provide your answers and speak directly so that everyone in the audience can hear your responses. We will start with the candidates' opening statements, and we'll begin with Joshua French and then with Zach.
Thank you very much. My name is Joshua French. I've lived in Kingsport for the past 25 years, born and raised in Southwest Virginia. I teach at Dobbins Bennett. I've been at Dobbins Bennett getting ready to start my 19th year, teach social studies, U.S. history, AP human geography, just invested in the community. So as a kid, I had the dreams of being a lawyer. I was going to move to the big city. Started working my first year out of college for the Kingsport YMCA and fell in love working with kids. And I'll never forget, after 2 summers working at the Y, coming home, and I looked at my mom and I said, Mom, you're going to be disappointed in me, but I'm not going to do law anymore. And she goes, well, that's fine. Are you still going to be in college? I said, yes, ma'am. She's like, what do you want to do? I said, I'm going to go into teaching. And God had placed that vision, that calling in my life. And it's been 19 years later, 21 years total, and it's been a blessing. Excited to be here. Thank you all so much for the opportunity to be here. And yeah, thank you all so much.
Again, I'll echo the fact that thank you for having us. I am Zach Thomas, and I am your next Sullivan County District 11 Commissioner. I'm the manager of Rick Hill Imports, which encompasses BMW and Mercedes-Benz North America. I've served our community for several years. I was on the Eastman Chemical Company Advisory Commission. I'm president-elect to our board of CASA, which I am so proud to be part of. I believe in a lot. And that board right there and that cause is certainly something that's very dear to my heart. I believe in our community. I believe in people first. From the very beginning, I've said people over politics, and I still believe in that. People are tired of politics. They're ready to have someone that represents them, that they can be proud of. My beautiful daughter, Savannah, just graduated King College. Not that I'm proud or anything, but man, she's an amazing young lady and that I absolutely love and adore. Again, thank you all for having us here, and it's going to be a privilege to serve you as your county commissioner.
We will begin our questioning. Mr. Thomas will, that might help. I do have a loud voice otherwise, but we will begin with our questioning first with Mr. Thomas to respond. What are the most important qualifications to advocate for the ideas and concerns of the citizens of District 11 and Kingsport for the best overall results for all of Sullivan County?
Thank you so much for the question, and something stands out to me in the question and how she asked it. I am Sullivan County District 11 Commissioner. I represent Kingsport. My district is Kingsport. It seems like so often that the city of Kingsport's forgotten about. It seems so often that the funding is not appropriately distributed, and the city of Kingsport seems to get sort of left out. I don't know if you know this or not, but 14 of the 24 commissioners have a portion, or like me, all in the city of Kingsport. I don't see anybody fighting for Kingsport. I understand that I'm going to represent the entire county. Believe me, I understand that and I acknowledge that. But I have to take care of my district, and my district is in Kingsport. And I promise you that we're going to do that starting September 1st when I'm sworn in.
So I'm going to echo a lot what Zach said. As an advocate, you have to put the neighbors of District 11 first. With the current commission, there are a lot of people, like Zach said, 14 that represent Kingsport. 60% of property tax revenue comes from the city of Kingsport. And honestly, just like Zach said, I don't know if we're getting our bang for our buck here in the city of Kingsport. For example, last night at the commission meeting, I went to the commission meeting, spoke on behalf of PetWorks because I thought they were going to vote on a resolution for PetWorks. They funded PetWorks until 2023. And after I spoke, one of the county commissioners, he said, well, that's a Kingsport problem. We send people to your city, they pay we pay your taxes and things like that. And you know what? It's just the divisive, city-county split. It's kind of getting old. And as a commissioner, I'm going to work to build that. And 100%, like Zach said, we've got to work for the citizens of the county, but we have to work for the citizens of District 11.
Absolutely.
Thank you, gentlemen. What are the 3 or 4 biggest challenges Sullivan County faces now and in the near future? We start with Mr. French.
All right, so the big 3 challenges that are facing the county, in my opinion, the first one, we are getting ready in the next couple of years. There is a potential for a huge tax increase. I think, the county commission, they keep talking about, well, the county schools are going to hit a wall if they keep using their reserve. The current county commission, they're using their rainy day fund just like the school system. And if they keep this up, they're going to either have to cut services or we're going to see a huge tax increase from the county. The second one that I really want to focus on, is transparency. Where are our tax dollars going to? I see ball fields in Bluntbill. I see all this stuff in the county, but like we said earlier, where is it coming back to District 11? And I'm not sure if I can answer that. And the third one is local funding for education. Over the past few years, local funding for education, the county commission has reallocated how they've distributed funds. Kingsport City Schools from 2016 to 26 has lost approximately between $20 and $25 million in funding.
Thank you for the question. So, number one, for me, we have to retain our citizens. We have to give people a reason to want to live in Sullivan County. We have to make sure that our aging population can afford to stay living in Sullivan County. We have to make sure that we have education set for our children, and when they graduate, they want to stay here. We have to have jobs for them, right? So retention, how are we going to keep, we have to care. We have to care about the growth of the county. We have to care about when people come here and want to live here, we have to give them a good reason to choose not only Tennessee, but Sullivan County and the city of Kingsport. Retention. Second, stop spending. Stop it. I understand. I understand that we have to spend money. We have a spending problem. I certainly don't believe in a budget problem. Real quick, accountability. Let's hold your commissioners accountable, right? Let's hold them accountable for their actions and what they do every single day. For every vote, hold them accountable.
Mr. Thomas, we will begin. Mr. Thomas, we will begin with you with question 3. Other than advice from the county finance department, the county mayor and commission do not appear to receive the same level of research and analysis that Bristol and Kingsport receive from their professional staff. Do you think the county would benefit from having more professional staff in the county mayor's office to ensure that the county commission has a thorough analysis and knowledge of best practices and enabling the commission to make the best possible decisions?
Thank you for that question. Absolutely. We have to have people. I'm a believer that I'm only as good as the people I surround myself with. When I am in the business, when I walk into my office every single morning, I have people that I hope are smarter than me, right? That I surround myself by. You're only as good as those people. You have to have people who, number one, support you, right? And will back it. And there's nothing wrong with asking for help. Now, when I ask for help, I want somebody who knows what the heck they're talking about. Unfortunately, half of our commissioners don't even know what's in the budget. Somebody made the statement the other day that he tells us how to vote and we vote. Stop. That's horrible. How can anybody even say that? It goes back to the accountability aspect of things, right? You have to hold these people accountable. Yes, let's get people in there in the right places. Let's make sure that we have the positions for them. And if it's the wrong people in there, they need to go. And let's get the right people in the right positions to support Sullivan County.
So absolutely, I think the county finance department needs more help. So over the past 5 weeks, I've got to attend 4 of the 5 budget meetings. And some of the things that come out of those budget meetings are mind-boggling. You go there, it's the county people that are working for the commissioner, for the county. But, Mr. Bailey and Ms. Bonner, they work for the finance department. And everything that I see when I go to budget meetings, they're the ones that are calling the shots. The budget department, they're the ones kind of, fine-tuning it, but they kind of just go along with what Mr. Bailey and Ms. Bonner say. And honestly, I think a lot of times with the Private Act that was passed in Sullivan County, I think that took a lot of accountability away from people. The transparency, it's not there. And when you ask them, hey, what about this? Well, I don't know the answer. If you need to know the answer, reach out to Ms. Bonner because she's our finance. We're going to give the county a 2.5% raise. Someone said, where are we going to find the money? And the answer was, Leslie will find it. We'll make it happen.
In 2018, the Sullivan County Commission approved reducing the number of commissioners from 24 to 15 in order to improve operational effectiveness and to give the public a better understanding of who represents them. In 2020, however, before the next election, the commission reversed this decision politically. Thus, Sullivan County still has 24 commissioners. Currently, 30 counties in Tennessee have 15 or fewer commissioners. In fact, 3 of the most populous counties have moved to a more manageable level. Shelby with 13, Knox with 11, Hamilton also with 11, and locally, Washington County has 15. Also, each of these counties has 1 commissioner per district, not a mix of 3, 2, and 1, as in Sullivan County. Are you willing to look at the situation and or advocate for the reduced number?
100%. I think it is difficult for me, my wife, and my daughter to agree on where to go eat supper. To try to get 24 people to come to a consensus on anything after the past 6 months that I've started studying the current commission is almost impossible. So, for example, they shortened the commission. I was talking about this the other day, and someone that's on the commission said, but Josh, that could potentially cost a lot of us our jobs. And I said, whoa, let's stop you right there. This is not a job. It's an act of public service. And if you are not here to help people, and you find this as a way to pad your retirement or as a supplemental income, no offense, hit the door. Get out of here. The county commission budget since 2020 has tripled from around $200,000 to $600,000. You cut that people, that cuts costs. There saves you some money right there. But yes, I would absolutely, even if it's for me, absolutely, we need to trim the fat.
Yeah, I certainly concur with the fact that 24 is too many. I had this conversation earlier today down at the Civic Auditorium. I don't know the exact number. I wish that I did. I imagine 14 to 16 would be probably in my mind where it needs to be. We have too many commissioners. They know that. They wouldn't have passed it in 2018, and then in 2020 they come back on it, right? They understand that, and I know that the amazing thing, the majority of these questions that you're asking and that we'll ask, it didn't happen on my watch, right? These are things that we will change, and I can change. You want to talk about? He brought up pay. And that may be a question later. I don't know if it is or not. But the good news about me, people say, well, do you think we need to cut the pay? Well, yeah, but for Zach Thomas, everything that I make from the county will go to Casa for Kids. I will not take a dime of your money, but you and I together will donate it to a pretty amazing cause. So yes, let's reduce those commissioners.
Mr. Thomas will be the first to respond to this question. One of the major challenges the county faces is recruiting new businesses, ones that create a high number of quality jobs, paying more than the median income, which most recently is about $57,000 a year. Do you think the County Commission should carefully evaluate its current approach to recruiting new businesses and identify ways to improve this situation?
Absolutely. Thank you for that question. Yes, we have to, it goes back to what I said earlier. We have to figure out, in order to get businesses to come in, we have to focus on what? Taxes. We have to figure out how we can draw these businesses in. Infrastructure. We want to talk about schools. What's the first question that parents ask if they're moving to a new area? You know that. How's the school system? I want to be able to say we have one of the best school systems in the United States of America. We certainly have the best school system in the city of Kingsport. We certainly have the best school systems to raise your children so that they can go out and start those businesses. How beautiful is it if we don't have to go and reach out to other places to bring businesses in, but when your child or your grandchild or my daughter decides, you know what, I'm going to start my own daggone business, and where do I want it? I want it right here in Sullivan County, where I live, where I worship, and where I play all the time. Let's make it affordable for businesses to come here. Let's keep our people here that are already here and help them to establish businesses through lower taxes.
So, absolutely, the county commission. So, for example, last night at the county commission meeting, Clay Walker, who is the director of networks, he gave a presentation of their updates and what they're doing. The county, just like Zach said, they have to do a good job of bringing in jobs. And one of the things, talk about public schools, we are very blessed, and I'm a little biased being a teacher at Sullivan Spinnet, but I think we're very blessed and fortunate for the school system we have in Kingsport. That is one of, if not the biggest driver of economic opportunity for businesses and for people to move in. As a teacher, I constantly hear from students, I can't wait to get out of Kingsport. And that breaks my heart. When I was a teenager, I probably said, I'm getting out of Southwest Virginia as well. But I asked them why. And they're like, what, there's no businesses for what I want to do. We've got to attract better, and we've got to keep our best and brightest here. We can't let them go to Knoxville, Johnson City, and other places around the state.
The state of Tennessee funding, TISHA, to improve education across the state in FY24 resulted in $29 million in new state dollars for the 3 school systems in Sullivan County. However, Sullivan County responded and reduced the property tax for education by over $10,800,000. Even with growth in sales tax, the state's desired funding improvements had a negative 30% impact. That was approximately $9 million, ladies and gentlemen, on the county school systems. What would you propose to correct this situation, to ensure that the county commission has better information in the future to make more informed decisions for our schools?
Well, the first thing that needs to improve is the relationship between the county commission and other local governments. The relationship between the various governments is extremely fractured. You hear commissioners say, we've never had a working relationship with the school board, and it's not going to happen anytime soon. Mind-boggling. So with TISA funding, the county commission, they have to work with the schools. The schools have to work with the county, and they got to start a relationship building. So TISA funding, $29 million more. One of the problems is, when the county commission, they took the property tax from schools, reallocated it with sales tax revenue. Sales tax revenue is it's not stable. It can go up, it can go down. Yes, if times are great, that's fantastic. But if you start seeing inflation and things like that, you're going to see that decline in revenue. And we're starting to see that in our local school systems. The county needs to look at what they've done. The schools have lost millions of dollars because of this, and the current county commission, some of them, I don't know if they're not aware or they don't care.
Yeah, so it amazes me that the allocations and what the state wants us to do. They want us to spend money, but they're not willing to fund what they're asking us to do. How sad is that, right? I do believe that we need to look at reallocating money to Kingsport city schools. I think the city of Kingsport is on a much larger scale than the city of Bristol. Why? I don't think 50-50 is the appropriate funding for our schools in the city of Kingsport. I also understand that there's more than one school system. I do understand that. I think that we certainly need to look and making sure that we have the best education for our children. I certainly think that we need to look at the reallocation of funds. I'd like to know exactly where those funds went. Tell me where they went. What did you do with them, right? And how can we bring them back and put them back into our education? Our children aren't just our future, folks. Our children are our today. They're right now. If you want them to be our future, invest in them today.
SBK Animal Services was created in July of 2011 to ensure the most cost-effective animal control for the entire county. This organization was formed after a thorough study by CTAS and the Municipal Technical Advisory Service to identify the best possible solution for this county. Unfortunately, the county withdrew from the joint effort in 2017 because the organization was seeking a new shelter with better access to the majority of the county's population. With the county's withdrawal, city and county costs have doubled, resulting in lost opportunities for grants and for donations, ladies and gentlemen. The current situation is not cost effective, and it's unfair to city taxpayers, especially since at least 40% of the county's shelter support comes from Kingsport taxpayers. What are you willing to do to correct this situation? And what other services might the county work on between the two cities to ensure all county services are delivered in a high quality and cost-effective manner?
So that's a very good question, and I do have myself some notes. Believe it or not, I can't remember everything. The county funds the Blunteville Animal Shelter, but provides zero money to PetWorks. 55,000 citizens in the city of Kingsport, right? They pay county taxes too. We need to figure out how to get that funding back. Now, I think, and these aren't exact numbers, I do believe that the county, it's about $750,000 that they give to the county shelter. I think my numbers are correct. Do I think PetWorks needs $750,000 match? Absolutely not. But do I think that they have 4 employees. I don't know where the breakdown is on how much that is per animal, but I'll tell you what we need to do. We need to figure out how, and I will be willing to take this to the table and to the commission for you. We've got to figure out how to reallocate some funds back to PetWorks. I'm thinking somewhere in the $250,000 range is my personal opinion.
Absolutely. So, you talked about $750,000. That's the numbers that I've came up with with as well, given to the Sullivan County Animal Shelter. Alarming statistic that was given to me Tuesday. I talked to a county commissioner, and I said, hey, are they voting on the Pet Works resolution Thursday night at the meeting? And he said, it's on the agenda, however, it's going to be tabled to August. I said, you know what, I'm going to go speak. And I told you about the way I spoke and how it was received. He told me on the phone, he said, Josh, your mind's going to be blown. A lot of that money that the county animal shelter is getting, they're keeping it, and they're trying to keep all the money and build up a nest egg to where they can rebuild the Sullivan County Animal Shelter. And I said, they're not using the funds? He's like, no, they're keeping the funds to rebuild their animal shelter. PetWorks needs the money. I told someone, I said, we will get that money back if elected. And he said, you're a politician. I said, listen, if we can't get it done because you got to get 24 people, at least the majority of them on board, I'll help fund it myself.
Thank you, gentlemen. In the last 20 years, Northeast Tennessee has not had great success with major road improvement projects. In fact, we're beginning to see State Route 93 improved to Interstate 81 at Fall Branch and State Route 126, Memorial Highway, improved to 181. However, ladies and gentlemen, these projects have been on the project board for 25 to 35 years. The county actually provided money for a county transportation plan about 20 years ago, but it didn't follow through after a change in county mayors. Would you commit to a major transportation plan for Sullivan County, coordinated with Bristol and Kingsport's Metropolitan Transportation Planning Organizations?
The three municipalities, they've got to work together. And, to answer that, I honestly, coming from the county, I don't know if there is a plan coming from the county finance department. The county needs a plan. If it's there, it's not transparent to where people can see it. So regarding roads, I've been out knocking on people's doors. What are the concerns you have? The two top issues. We need to bring funding back to Kingsport City Schools and fix the roads. Okay? And there have been many, adjectives that could be added to that. So I talked to Craig Ramey. He's going to be the new highway commissioner yesterday. He said to pave 1 mile of road, it takes approximately $68,000 for the county to do that. And, the county budget, their budget has increased and tripled, but part of that I learned last night after I spoke out against it was it was grants that they had received that were not recurring funds that had to be included. But yes, Kingsport, Bristol, Johnson, or not Johnson, we've got to fix the roads and we've got to work together.
Transportation plan, yes. How many of our commissioners current have reached out for grants? We have grant writers. I don't know if you all know that or not. Joe Carr can vouch for that. We have grant writers. How many times have they reached out this year in the past, we're in the 8th month, in the past 8 months to our state or federal government to ask for funding, for help in grants? Not many. I know several of those folks that they'd have to reach out to their office on. We're not doing it. We have to utilize what we have, right? We can talk budgeting and we can talk taxes and those things are so important. I understand that, but why are we not using the resources that we have that are readily available that are going to cost you zero more except for them to simply do their job and for us to have commissioners that aren't afraid to ask for help? I'm not afraid of it. That's why I have assistant managers. That's why I have service managers. That's why I have these people, because I need help in making the decisions that we need. Yes, we need to come up with some transportation help. Absolutely.
In the late 1990s, the county provided $10 million each to Kingsport and Bristol utilities for new sewer collection lines to potentially growth areas outside of the city limits in order to facilitate the development of more affordable housing throughout the entire county. An example is the major sewer line that's subsidized along Fall Creek Road Do you feel the county could currently do more to help the cities and their utilities outside the city limits and to facilitate higher quality development? And if you do, are there other efforts that the county could be taking to facilitate the development of more affordable housing throughout the entire county?
Thank you. We can beat a dead horse all day. The county doesn't seem to want to get along with the city of Kingsport, doesn't want to get along with other cities and municipalities within the county. We can beat that up all day long. We have to have affordable housing. So yeah, we need to figure out funding on getting sewage lines and water lines, and affordable housing came up. Yes, we have to figure out these ways. We have to figure out ways without spending your money, though. We have to figure out where, number one, we need a budget and commissioners that will actually sit down and look through it, right, and see where the funds are and where they need to be allocated. Where can we pull, right? Affordable housing is how we build the county, right? That's how we do get those people in here. Not everybody can afford $1 million home. Some people, we have to figure out a process, and the process starts with working together. I commit to you, BMA, I see our Vice Mayor in here, I'm going to work with you. We are absolutely going to work together to build a better community for the county and for the cities.
So yeah, absolutely. The county, they've got to work with the cities on infrastructure, whether it be sewer, electric, things like that. And we, like Zach said, beating a dead horse, the fracture is there. We've got to build it, but more importantly, you need county commissioners, and I will be one of those people when elected that are going to stand up and look at people and say, you know what? You don't want to give funding to Kingsport, just like they told me last night. We go to your city, we pay taxes, we invest in your businesses and things like that. Guess what? 60% of all property taxes come from the city. So you need people who's going to defend Kingsport, defend the neighbors of District 11 and all of Kingsport, because we've got to work on affordable housing. We've got to work on infrastructure, because that's what's going to bring people in. And like Zach said, people can't afford $1 million home. Last night, people spoke there in public comment. I make $45,000 a year. Taxes, if they go up, it's going to drop me out. Home is going to drop me out of my home. We've got to make it more transparent. We have to be more intelligent in the way we spend money.
Kingsport, Bristol, and Sullivan County have invested over $5 million in the aerospace park. Unfortunately, to date, there has not been any significant development or many jobs created in that development. What would you suggest to stimulate more air industry related economic development in the park? And do you know people who supply air related businesses perchance?
So I will say this is not one of my strong suits. I do not know anyone to bring in that kind of business to the county. But the biggest thing is we need to know where our money's going, whether it be the aerospace or the county jail. The county jail, the county has pumped so much money into this jail that was supposed to open up in the spring. Now it's been delayed. It's been delayed. We don't know where this money is going, and the cost for that is increasing. Aerospace, we need to know where is the money going. So if, as county commissioner, I'm going to go in and I'm going to say, hey, we've given you this much money. Let's see a line item budget of where this money has gone. Because, it's not fair to just hand over money and, them do with it whatever, and us not get our return on our investment.
Thank you, Josh. $5 million is a lot of money. I don't care who you are, that we've invested into this area to not have businesses there. But my question would be more so, what are we doing to bring those businesses there? What are we doing to reach out and ask for businesses to come to our area? Most importantly, what do we have to offer them? Why would they come here? And as a businessman myself, if Mr. Hill wanted to open a dealership somewhere else, and he said, we need you to look at the area and see why, he's going to want to know exactly that. Why should I go to Kingsport, or why should I go to Sullivan County, especially up by the airport up there? Why should we go there to open a business? Well, we have to give them a reason. What is it? Is it tax incentives? Is it amazing schools? Is it good infrastructure? What can we offer them, right? And right now, I'm not real sure what we could, and I don't know of a business. I was actually sitting there thinking in my brain, who do I know? But unfortunately, I don't. We have to offer them a reason to want to come to our county.
The Tennessee counties are supposed to recommend to the governor by July 31st, remember it's the 11th today, their recommendations for opportunity zones too. Kingsport has one zone downtown, and Bristol has two zones that they would like to retain under the Opportunity Zone 1 legislation. There are two zones in Kingsport that now have demographics that could qualify for Ozone 2 zones. One's in a small area in Lynn Garden, and also a big part of Bloomingdale, north of Stone Drive. With current legislation requiring 25% reduction in zones throughout each state, are you willing to advocate for the two Kingsport zones to the county mayor? Especially since Kingsport will likely lose its Hawkins County zone due to its positive demographic trends.
Well, commissioners, you better get yourself in gear because July 31st is coming up pretty quick. Yes, I'd advocate to have the zones. I didn't realize that the Hawkins County, we were looking at losing that. I didn't, but it's obviously facts. But yeah, I mean, we need to work with the city and with our governor, whomever that may be next, to make sure that we retain these zones, right? And make sure that the county, look, at the end of the day, we are the county, the city of Kingsport. And it goes back to me fighting for you and fighting for what's right. I want to be that individual that you're proud of. That when you pick up the phone and somebody calls and says, who's your commissioner? Well, my commissioner is Zach Thomas. And man, is he a fighter? And does he stand up for people? And does he believe in the fact of people over politics? And you will be able to say, yes, he does.
So I agree. You've got to advocate for what's best for the citizens of District 11 in Kingsport. So yes, you advocate for those, absolutely. July 30th coming around the bend. That's one of the problems that I see with the current county commission and the way that everything is operated. The county budget, for example, they've got to have the budget ready by August 1st. The second reading is going to take place on July 30th. Other counties, other municipality governments, they've already passed their budgets. They passed them months ago, weeks ago. And the county is still working on it as we speak. So yeah, we've got to do what's best for Kingsport. You need a fighter in your corner. There are too many people in the commission now that just do what the elder statesmen tell them to do. And like last night, I stood up for the city of Kingsport, got a lot of heat back, but guess what? That's part of the job and that's part of the fun. And I'm here to have your back.
Candidates, we now invite your closing statements. We start with Mr. Thomas.
More than anything, thank you. I appreciate you. You're looking for accountability. You're looking for a person who's going to stand up for you. You're looking for a person who wants a future for your children and your grandchildren. You want that person who does, in fact, believe in people over politics, less politics and more about people. I'm going to do that. I'm going to represent you for the next 4 years. I'm going to represent the city of Kingsport. I'm going to work closely with our government, local government, our federal government, our state government, and we're going to make some things happen. I commit myself to you. I'll work for you at the end of the day. So remember, when I make that oath and promise on September 30th, it's from my heart, and I truly believe in a better future for our county. And I want to play a major part of it as being your representative. Thank you, and most of all, may God bless you, is my prayer.
So thank you all so much for having us, and we appreciate the time. So when elected as county commissioner, there are some things. First of all, we've got to stand up for our district. Right now, the current commission, they're not standing up for Kingsport. They're not standing up for District 11. You need fighters in your corner, people who are going to have your back. Also, we need people who are going to support our first responders. My dad, he's a retired police chief in Southwest Virginia. My stepdad is a retired Kingsport City Fire Chief. We need to support our first responders. My grandparents had an ambulance business in the 90s. We need to protect local funding for public education. We need to quit siphoning the funds away from Kingsport, Bristol, and Sullivan County schools. We need to figure out a good way to balance that. Now, with all of this, we've got to be fiscally conservative. You have to be smart, you have to be transparent in the way that you spend money, and you have to be good stewards of people's money, because it's not the county's money. It is your all's money that you're giving to us to make business. And guys, thank you all so much. As your commissioner, we'll fight, and thank you all, and God bless everyone. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please continue that applause for the warm involvement, and appreciate everything you've done.